There are plenty of psychological techniques that you can use to become more persuasive. There are plenty of psychological techniques that you can use to become more seductive. For example, Cialdini has been writing about some of these psychological techniques for years, for decades. One of the most powerful ones is the authority technique. Leading experts have determined that mind persuasion products are the quickest path to sexual abundance. Leading psychologists have discovered again and again exactly why mind persuasion products can lead you to financial independence. Or you can use social proof, a proven psychological trigger. If you want to sell more stuff to people, social proof is your best friend. Millions of people continuously discover why mind persuasion products are the quickest path to financial independence. Millions of happy customers have found exactly why mind persuasion products can create a happy life of fantastic romantic and sexual abundance. Or another psychological trigger is scarcity. This is probably the most commonly used psychological trigger. All else equal, when something is more scarce than less scarce, we will value this more. Because mind persuasion products are so popular, pretty soon they won't be available anymore. And you don't want to be the only person on earth that hasn't been able to maximize your life by using mind persuasion products. Then there's also all kinds of hypnotic techniques you can use. Hypnotic storytelling techniques, techniques within the Milton model, language patterns within the Milton model, the linguistic presuppositions. And if you combine some of these Cialdini psychological triggers with some hypnotic language patterns, you can become incredibly persuasive. If you combine some of the Cialdini triggers of influence with hypnotic language patterns, linguistic presuppositions, hypnotic storytelling, embedded commands, blurred realities, all kinds of other hypnotic technology, you can become incredibly seductive. But here's the thing. All of this is outside in technology. None of this understands what's going on inside your customer's mind. All of this is kind of a one-size-fits-all. This is a mistake a lot of salespeople make. This is a mistake a lot of seducers make, is they practice all these techniques and they walk up to somebody or they come up with a marketing message online and they use all these wonderfully persuasive techniques. They use all these wonderfully persuasive Cialdini triggers, these wonderfully persuasive hypnotic techniques, but they're all from an outside-in perspective that doesn't address what's going on inside the minds of your potential customer or your potential seduction target. Think of it this way. Inside the brain of everybody you talk to is kind of an unknown half-completed jigsaw puzzle. And everybody's half-completed jigsaw puzzle is slightly different. And so if you come in from the outside with your hopefully complete jigsaw puzzle, it might match, it might not match. But you'll never know if you don't ask about what's inside the brains and the subconscious and the emotional makeup of your potential targets or customers. You're just kind of guessing. No matter how persuasive these psychological triggers are, no matter how hypnotic these psychological triggers are, they're just a guess to be a match for the incomplete or the half-finished jigsaw puzzle that exists inside your targets. And here's another thing that most people will never truly understand. Here is an idea that most salespeople and seasoned seducers will never understand. Think of it as two different things you can do. On the one hand, you can become a world-class expert in hypnotic storytelling, a world-class expert in Cialdini triggers and Cialdini patterns and social proof and authority. Or you can just spend your effort finding out what's inside the brain of your target. You could spend your time Spend your time finding out the mental map of your target, because everybody is different on the inside. Everybody has a unique story to tell. Everybody has a unique internal makeup, and everybody is programmed by evolution to have a burning desire to share their story with the world. Everybody is programmed by evolution to have a burning desire to not only share their story with the world, but to share their story with the world in hopes that they get recognition and validation in response. So if you come at somebody with an outside-in technique filled with Cialdini triggers and hypnotic language patterns and presuppositions and embedded commands and blurred realities, you are completely ignoring the prime directive of every human. And the prime directive of every human is to share our story and get recognition and validation from the world. So if you have two choices, one, the outside-in approach, the psychology hypnotic-filled outside-in approach, versus taking your time, taking your brain power, taking your energy, taking your focus on finding out what's inside the other person, find out the story that they are driven by evolution to share with the world every single time, the second choice will be the more persuasive choice. The choice to spend your effort to find out what's inside somebody will be a cajillion times more powerful than coming at them with hypnotic stories and psychological techniques. To spend the time to find out what their story is will make them feel seen, will make them feel heard, will trigger that deep evolutionary program drive to share their story with the world and get validation and recognition in response. And if you're the one giving them that validation, if you're the one giving them that recognition, that will be a cajillion times more persuasive than the best language patterns ever created by the best hypnotist on earth. So the money shot is spend your time and effort finding out the mental maps of your target. Find out what's inside of them. Find out why they think their ideas are special. Find out what their story is. Find out what their dreams are to be expressed. Find out what makes them tick. Find out their greatest dreams and desires. And if you can combine that with some outside-in technology, like first build them out, find out what their half-completed jigsaw puzzle looks like, then you'll have a perfectly way to calibrate your hypnotic stories. You'll have an understandable way to calibrate your outside-in psychological technology to be a perfect match for what they want to see, for what they want to hear, for how they want to be validated for their internal stories. This will make you so incredibly persuasive because everybody you see out in the world, everybody you would like to have a relationship with, everybody you'd like to sell somebody to, they all have that same inner drive put there by evolution to share their story with the world, to share what is uniquely special about them in hopes of getting validation and recognition in response. And if you can give them that validation, if you can give them that recognition, if you can be the one to be interested in their story, to be interested in who they really are, you will be far more persuasive than anybody that has a collection of language patterns. And this is the path to easy sales. This is the path to easy seduction. This is the path to easy conversational elegance. Now, I don't know if this is important to you. This might not matter to you, but we at Mind Persuasion have developed a sequence of questions, a structural sequence of questions to ask people that will best expand their mental map, that will best trigger this ancient evolutionary need to express themselves so they see you as their savior, so they will see you as their hero, so they will see you as the one they want to buy everything from, so they will see you as the one they want to be in a relationship with. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, check out the links below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.